Hello everybody, we are going to start today's notes by reviewing finding the perimeter of a figure and the area of a two-dimensional polygon. So take a moment to pause your notes and find the perimeter of this equilateral triangle as well as its area, and also for the regular polygon, find the perimeter of it as well as its area. Now reminder with regular polygons, a nice formula you're going to want to use here is the half-app formula where you're using the apothem and the perimeter in order to find the total area. So again, pause your video and find those two answers now. Well, starting with the perimeter here for our equilateral triangle, if it's equilateral triangle, all three sides are going to have the same length. So in this case, 8 plus 8 plus 8 is going to give us a total of 24 inches for our perimeter. Well, from there, our area, if this is equilateral, there's that lovely formula side squared times the square root of 3 all divided by 4 will give us our total area. So we can plug in our side length of 8 for S, and then if we type in finding the square root all divided by 4, we end up with about 27.7 units squared. So inches in this case squared. Well, in a regular pentagon, we have 5 total sides, each with a length of 8. So 5 sides times the length of 8, the perimeter here is going to be 40 inches. And then we're going to use that value as well as that given apothem length from up above of 5.5 to help us find the total area of our pentagon. So 1/2 5.5 times 40 is going to have a total area of 110. And again, in this case, we're talking inches squared. Now, why do we need to know about finding the area and perimeter? Well, we're going to talk today about three-dimensional figures, finding the lateral area and then the total surface area. Now, the lateral area of a figure, in this case, we're going to focus on the prisms today, is going to be all of the side lengths that are not your bases. So in this case, not the hexagons. We're going to add up these 6 rectangles together. That is your lateral area. Your total surface area then would be taking the lateral area plus the area of the first hexagon base and the second hexagon base. That's your total surface area. So for a prism, we find the lateral area by taking the perimeter times the height, and then the total surface area is that lateral area plus the area of the 2 bases. Now, something really important to note here is that big B means the area of your base. So you are never going to just have a number. It's not going to just be a side length. It's going to be requiring you to calculate an area just like we had to do in the bell ringer. So notice the steps here. You want to make sure that you complete these steps in order to find each time your areas that you are looking for. So for instance, depending on your shape, you're going to want to think about what is my base, what shape is it, I'm going to find the perimeter of that, the area of that, and then the height, a reminder, is the segment that connects your 2 bases. So you have to be careful here. Your height is a distance between your bases. That's how I like to think of the height. And then you're going to plug into the appropriate formula, and you're always going to have that formula sheet with you. So for each of the 3 examples we're going to talk about here, we're going to find the lateral area and the surface area. And the first one is going to talk about a right hexagonal prism. The height between the 2 bases is 12 centimeters. The area of the base, aka big B, is 93.6. And the side of its base is 6 centimeters. So imagine here we took this hexagonal prism that we were looking at before, and we have here a side length of 6 on it. The area, the total area of one of the bases is that 93.6 measured, and then we have a height, so the distance here between this base and this base, they're telling us is 12. So kind of going back here, first and foremost, if we want the lateral area, the lateral area requires us to have the perimeter of the base times the height. Well, the perimeter of the base, if it's a hexagon, it has 6 sides, and they told us that each side is also 6 centimeters, so we have a total of 36 centimeters for the perimeter. And again, they gave us the height. The height they told us was 12. So to find that total lateral area, we're going to take that perimeter times the height. Take a moment to calculate that. You should have a total lateral area then of 432 square centimeters. Well, now the total surface area from there is going to be the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. Well, this problem's awesome because they gave us as well that big B. And we just calculated that the lateral area was 432. So we're going to plug all that information in for LA and then the area of the base. And as we calculate this one, take a moment, type that into your calculator. What are you getting for the surface area? It should be 619.2 centimeters squared. So we have our lateral area and our total surface area. Now, as you flip to the back side, okay, notice again when we talk about our prism, we want to think about, first off, what is the base in this picture, and then lateral area versus total surface area. Now again, your lateral area, if we look at our prisms, is going to be just the piece that's not our base laid out. Total surface area then will include those. So in the case here, we have a triangular prism this time. So our base is a triangle. Notice the height between those two triangles is this 5 here. That's representing the height, the distance between our two bases, which again are these two right triangles that are identical to each other. So a couple things here. When we talk about the lateral area, again, it wants the perimeter of the base and then the height. So notice our triangle is not equilateral. It has side lengths of 15, 9, and 12. So we need to add together those 3 sides to get our total perimeter, which is going to be 36 centimeters. And again, the height here is 5, the distance between those two bases. So our total lateral area is going to be that perimeter times the height, which gives us a total of 180 square centimeters. Okay, so here's our lateral area. Well, total surface area is going to not only include our lateral area, but it's also going to take into account, not only this lateral area, but it's also going to take into account the area of the bases, and we have 2 of them, right? So we need to side note over here, we need to come up with as well the area of the base, because again, right now, we don't officially have that. Well, notice again, this is a right triangle with a height of 12 and a base of 9, so 1/2 the base of that triangle times the height to get the area of a right triangle, 1/2 base times height. We end up with an area of 54 square centimeters. Well, now we can plug that back in over here. We have that lateral area, and now we know the area of that triangular base is 54, so we have 2 of those. So all together, take a moment to calculate that. You should have gotten 288 square centimeters. Okay, so there's our lateral area and our total surface area. Now, the next prism that we have, notice, is a little different than example 2 because this one is an equilateral. And we know it's equilateral because the base down here, they're marking all 3 sides congruent, and the base is going to be the same up here. So when we talk about the lateral area here, and it's the perimeter of the base times the height. So in this case, all four sides are going to be, all three sides are going to have a length of 4. So our total perimeter of the base is 12. And then notice this time the height, the distance between the two bases, is 6. So our total lateral area is going to be 12 times the height of 6 for a total of 72 square centimeters. Now, total surface area requires us not only to have that lateral area, but also know the area of our bases, because we have to add those in now. So going back to the bell ringer, the area of the base in this case is going to be found by taking side squared times the square root of 3, all divided by 4, where the side of this base, this equilateral triangle, is going to be 4. So if we plug this in and we get 4 squared, square root 3, all divided by 4. And if we round to the nearest tenth, we should get about 6.9 square centimeters. So now, again, to find that total, we're going to take that lateral area plus 2 times the area of our equal triangular base. And if we round to the nearest tenth here, we get a total surface area of 85.8 square centimeters. Okay. Well, last but not least, I have for you a cake. Okay, a nice rectangular birthday cake. And imagine you're taking this cake and you're celebrating, right, and you are going to ice it. Well, if you're icing the cake, you're icing the sides, right here, and you're icing all the way around the sides. So you're icing the lateral area, but you're also including one base on the top. You would not, however, ice the bottom because it's on cardboard. So when we look at this problem down below, that number 4, where it asks us to find the total surface area that we would be putting frosting on, we need to think about this, that we're taking the total surface area, right, because we're taking the lateral area, is going to get icing, but instead of being 2 bases that are going to get covered, it's only 1 base. So we're going to modify that formula a little bit because of that. Now, looking back at this problem as well, just to kind of visualize, we have a rectangular prism. I'm going to draw this in a little bit better. And the perimeter of this rectangular base here has sides of 14 and 18, and then it's going to have 14 and 18. So the perimeter is going to be found by adding those up, 14 plus 18 plus 14 plus 18, for a total perimeter of our base here of 64. Well, the height, again, is the distance between those 2 bases. So the top of the cake to the bottom of the cake, notice this is 5 inches. So the height here is 5 inches. So our total lateral area that we are going to find here first to be able to plug into the other formula, the lateral area is that perimeter of the base times the height. Let's take a moment to calculate that. Should have had 320 square inches. Again, that's your lateral area, 320, right? But we also need to take the area of that base. So reminder for the area of the base, again, this is a rectangle with a side length of 14 and 18. So the area of that base is going to be found by multiplying those 2 units, 14 and 18. So the area of our base, again, base times height, 252 square centimeters. Inches this time. Oops. 2 inches. And again, we're only going to add 1 base instead of our normal 2 because we're not frosting the bottom of this cake. So our total area here is going to be 320 plus 252, which is 572 square inches of delicious frosting. Okay, thanks everybody. Good luck with the practice.